because the understanding has been highlighted of how important it is for us to keep the dollars circulating in our communities and amongst our businesses, and how that's really necessary. So I feel like it's been more genuine for the past few months and consistent. So, but what I have been active about myself is to really challenge a lot of companies, organizations, and institutions on their Black Lives Matter solidarity statements. And I'm like, I don't need your email. I don't need no more fucking emails. Give me some money. Give some other black people some money. Either that or make shit free for us.
That's it, reparation.
More paid days off. You know what I'm saying? Like, be about it. Like, okay, this email is cute, but your membership fees are awful high. That definitely limits the access to many of us to be able to access your space. What about that? Do you have anything that you're planning on doing to, make it more affordable for Black and brown, people to access? Okay.
So now, so you have so you actually operate out of CIC, right?
Yeah.
And do you like the experience? Yeah. We want to talk a little bit about.
Well, they're one of the companies that I called out, and they stepped the hell up. Oh, they were like, oh, word, yeah, you right. We about to do some hella black shit. Here's an office space. Bring a group of black-owned businesses to come work out of here. Yeah. They buy my products to put in the bathroom. So when you go to CIC and moisturize and all that,
Can y'all clarify CIC for people who don't know?
The Cambridge Innovation Center.
Okay.
Co-working space located at 3675 March.
CIC is like co-working, business incubator.
Yeah, they got co-working spaces, office space. It's part of the University Science Center. Yeah, so it's a really dope space. It's where a venture cafe. We used to be able to drink for free every week. It was so nice. But now it's just virtual, so you gotta drink your own wine. But it's a good space to. I always run into people, people who are doing things. A lot of young black entrepreneurs work out there. So it's really cool. You know what I mean? You have a space that you're able to work out of, but you never know what's gonna happen. You never know you're gonna run into the conversation that you're gonna have and the potential for collaboration. So that's why I like working out there a lot.
Yeah. So I was just saying, like, just to be mindful of, I think we get into the home stretch here, and it's been so amazing just to hear your experience. I am personally like inspired.
Are you?
Yes, I am. Like, I learned so much about, I'm in education, so business is not really my territory. Yeah. But this is like I'm learning so much about business. So thank you for everything you've been sharing with us.
Thanks for feeding me.
Yeah, you want to tell people, if people want to get access to you, to your product, and like, where should they go, You
would go to melsbutterblends.com, MELS, butterblends.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook as well.
Before we get to our final question, can you talk a little, because you mentioned you work out at CIC. Yeah. Can you talk about some of the resources in Philly that have been helpful to you or that you recommend people check out?
Shout out to the African American Chamber of Commerce and my fam, Barry and Tiffany. They have held it all the way down. They put me on to so much stuff. They've had me host webinars. We're working together for a vendor market event. They've nominated me for grants for the work that I've been doing with the Mask Confidence Project. With our pop-up makerspace to sew masks and give away to the community. So they've been super supportive, very encouraging. The chamber, a lot of the, small business resource development centers, Enterprise Center, Entrepreneur Works. But it's double shout out to CIC though, because they really had my back. Shout out to Pennovation as well.
Pennovation.
A while back.
Home team too.
Yeah, I don't live over there no more. That's why CIC is easier access for me. A lot of shout out to all black business owners that are part of Black
suggestion here.
Yeah. It always feels like a family reunion, you know, when we like us all end up in a spot together. It's really dope. There's always something to catch up on. There's always space for us to collaborate. So that's why I'm like trying to be more intentional now about creating spaces that we can come together and share and talk about these kinds of things and have these conversations. So, you know, we don't have to struggle alone.
Yeah.
That's what makes it even harder, because then it's like, okay, well, I'm the first person to really try to build a company in my family. I don't really have anybody there that I can talk to about it. You know, some of my friends aren't necessarily entrepreneurs, so they don't want to hear my shit. You know, I'm a nerd, like straight up nerd, like all day. So my headphones just went out. But like, I'll be watching Jeopardy and International House Hunters all day. I'm not like a normal person that people want to hang out with. So it helps for me to have other entrepreneurs as friends. Because everybody, you know, like-minded and on the same wave, so it's easier to interact in that way. So yeah, that's.
Before we get out of here, do you have any parting words? Words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom.
Yeah, this is the word of wisdom, right?
I'm an entrepreneur or something.
Listen, I really like spend the time making sure that, you know, you're solving problems, that you're looking for solutions. It's not like, I hate to say this, but just take a lesson from what we've seen about some of the businesses that we've seen struggle or fail, you know, from the past few months and all the shutdowns. Like, really focus. I really need Black or Black people to focus on creating these recession-proof businesses. Think outside the box. I did a whole presentation of with the chamber about recession-proof businesses, and on the research I did, there's so much opportunity in sectors that we're not even in, agriculture, farming, all of this stuff, and it's just looking at the list of all of the business types that are allowed to still operate during the pandemic that weren't shut down, and how many of them aren't our businesses, like all the restaurants and the nail shops and the closed. We ain't got no money. Agriculture, security, IT, all of these industries still going. And actually the industries that were still going boomed because their services were needed even more. Now all of the buildings that need temperature scanners and, you know, have to do all this COVID proofing stuff to open the door handles and, you know, all of this stuff that has boomed since then. Like, we're not in those spaces heavily. You know what I'm saying? We have to move out of these service industry businesses and thinking that that's going to take so much more of your physical labor and time. Like, we have to move into these other spaces that are recession-proof, constantly able to function, and super needed. Like, I'm a big person. I'm big on bringing back manufacturing to the United States right now, because March and April, trying to find masks, trying to find sanitizer, trying to find wipes, trying to do all this stuff. Like, America got exposed for how underprepared we are for these types of situations, because we allow other countries to produce everything that we consume now. And that's a danger for some of our native countries as well. And all of the, you know, trade agreements and whatever, embargoes and stuff that you do a deal to get money for this, but now you can't sell rice anymore. You can't export rice. So now all you have is the stuff that's being brought into your country. Like, we have to be more conscious of taking control of these situations so that we're not dependent on external entities for our survival.
Like they say, where there are problems are also opportunities too.
You know, those were profound advice and knowledge that you shared with us. But I would just say, at the end of the day, it just all come down to knowledge, right? When you have knowledge, that means you have more awareness of what's going on, and then you're able to figure out, like, where can I make impact, and just like what you just said, right? So this is why I think that we need to continue to have these conversations.
For sure.
You know, and we need to continue to come together as Black people and talk. And figure out, like, you know, what can we make impact, continue to make impact, because we need to be in these states. We belong in these states.
And that's what Black Connect is all about, and that's why I started that, because I'm like, if me and you have a conversation over here. I have a conversation with you over there. I talk to Jason over there. But we all talk about the same shit, not together. And we're not doing stuff together.
Plug Black Debate. And so,
you know,
just to take a little bit of what is Black Debate, just for the people on the.
So, Black Debate Network, really the goal of that was to bring more consistent educational and economic opportunities for minority-owned businesses in Philly. So that started with a marketplace, like pop-up shop, so that we can have an ongoing event, at least happen monthly, where we can all sell our products, come together, have different community conversations. That's usually a big part of it. It's not just, people come shop. It's like we're talking about different topics that are relevant to our community. And then the mastermind group is different business owners come together, talk about what we're all experiencing, ways that people can collaborate on each other's projects, and really moving away from, well, I'm a consultant and I charge $300 an hour for my time. It's more about like, if you have a skill set that I can benefit from and you can benefit from my skill set, what can we exchange and collaborate on, for both of our projects to move forward, for both of our businesses to move forward. And really working more cooperatively in that way, because I feel like we've gotten so far away from that. I've had people try to charge me for a conversation to find out if they can help me with what I need help with. Okay, Black lawyer, I see. I wanted to work with you, but that doesn't even make sense. I don't even know if you handle the type of situation.
Hours add up real quick.
Right, you get, just for me to find out, do you handle this type of work? Can you file this paperwork that I need? Like, you want me to pay you $300 just to find out if that's your expert? Because I've been in that situation where somebody's like, no, I don't handle any of that, but I'll refer you to this person. And it's like, that was a complete waste of my time. You know what I'm saying? So we really have to move away from that. And one thing that really inspired me, okay, I remember the name of the movie, but I'm blanking on his name. So The Black Godfather on Netflix.
Right.
If you ain't seen that, Clayton, I think it was Clayton, I forget his last name, but basically he put on like most of the big Black musicians back in the day, and was responsible for brokering huge deals for a lot of musicians, athletes, actors, and he was instrumental to just brokering those relationships. And then towards the end of the documentary, it was like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis are like, he didn't ask us for anything. Like, he didn't ask for a percentage, and he was like, we really talked to a bunch of other people that he put on, and he was like, he never asked for anything from these people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it was just like, he could have gotten just a cut, a finder's fee, or a fee for being an agent or whatever. And he wasn't about that. He was just like, I see what you're doing, I want to help you get there. And even like got to a point where it went into his, well, he made some bad financial decisions, but when he was in a bad financial place, and he ended up getting bailed out by all of his friends because he had done so much for people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it was like, we gotta come back with that energy and being more, working in community, and not with everybody, obviously, but when you see somebody doing something, you're like-minded, you talk about the same things, and you wanna accomplish things together, do it. Like, all of this mistrust or wanting to have your name on something, so it's more important.
Right. Because
it's so heavy.
Right.
We have way more shit to do. We have so far to go. Like that.
But it's like you said, like it's all about empowerment. What's the point of you doing something if you're not really empowering people, right? Because at the end of the day, like Melza said, I love the fact that you're saying, like, even though you have your own business and product, you want people to sort of like, get the product and be confident and look beautiful. But for you, it's like people come first. You love it. You're doing this for the people, and
trust me, I would rather be sleeping. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather get my sleep back. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, no, I gotta put more goodness out into the world, because there's a lot of fuck shit.
Right, and the world needs goodness right now.
That's right.
Yeah. So anyhow, just working together, building Black-owned businesses, sharing knowledge. I want to, start hosting workshops to have, people come teach us things, teach us about the digital ads, and teach us about, estate planning, and teach us about all of these different things that we traditionally don't get taught by our schools or our parents, our families, whatever. So, hey, we need to know it. I'm reaching out to folks and seeing if they want to come share with us and be a part of the part of the group.
Yeah.
You know, but either way, like, it's so much harder to do this alone. Like, a lot of folks are just starting out, they don't have a team, they're still solopreneurs. So you can't learn all the things you need to know. You know what I mean? Like, just reading a book. So I think exchanging information, exchanging experiences, so you don't have to learn the hard way. So we all don't have to learn the hard way. This is like the same lesson. Yeah, we don't need to all learn the same lesson the hard way. So the more we share, the better it is.
Yeah, I think knowledge is probably the most important part of like reaching your goals. Period.
Right.
And like, when you think about lack of access, is a lot of times it's lack of access to the right knowledge. And,
right.
And I'd say one luxury of the time we're living in is that there's so much information out there.
Yeah.
But now it's like, becoming aware of the right information.
Yeah, there are no excuses anymore.
Right.
There's a legit computer in your pocket.
Right.
At all times. So whatever you don't know, you didn't choose to know.
Right, and I just think that we also got to change our mindset around where do we sort of attain knowledge. Like, trust that the Black community, there are people in there with tremendous knowledge that we could leverage on. I love this saying that we got us.
Right.
Like, trust your friends, they are knowledgeable. Trust your family, they are knowledgeable.
And I've seen several situations where people don't trust something until they hear it from
someone.
So the knowledge is right there. It's just you gotta ask the right questions.
Right.
But just on the lighter side, Mel, you said so many powerful, amazing things today. What do you do for fun? Like, how do you keep yourself human?
I love to dance. So I'm like on live music withdrawal because I'm big on concerts and live music and all of that. So that's a big part. Music, dance. What else do I do for fun? Drink with the homies.
Okay. Hey.
What up? No, I don't drink that much. But Yay! We're not talking about how life is turned. No, I'm kidding. I'm 34.
25 is good.
34. No, but yeah, I honestly don't have much fun. I'm a really boring person right now. I'm in my sacrifice period. Because that's another thing they won't tell you. People are like, oh, I started a business so I can have freedom. And you know, I ain't got no freedom. And you won't for the first 5 years. So whatever you think about entrepreneurship, it ain't it. It ain't it.
Do something you enjoy.
I have my phone right here because somebody might send a chat message on my website and ask me what kind of products they need. Or my assistant might have questions for me and something that she needs to handle. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I can't turn it off. I try to. I might put my store on vacation mode if I go out of town, but you know what I mean? Like, I still have things I need to do and pay attention to or whatever, so I can never really, take a break. But I love when I can travel, I do. When I can eat delicious food, I do. When I can hang with people I care about, I do. That's what I do for fun. I have these types of conversations for fun, believe it or not, because this is fun for me.
And it sounds like your business is part of who you are.
You can't really separate.
What you live and breathe.
It really is. But not in a weird way, it's just how I've always been wired. Just because it's like that's what keeps me going. You know what I'm saying? That's what keeps me motivated. And I've always been motivated to do the same thing. It's always about creating my own, having my own. I had jobs in corporate America and all that, but I'm like, I'm not about to stay here. Y'all gonna give me these checks so I can start my business. That's what we're gonna do, you know what I'm saying? I was never comfortable in those environments. I gotta tone my hair down, I gotta dress like this and deal with all the foolishness and the microaggressions and, the side looks when I got my fro out. You gonna see this fro. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not the type of person to try to fit into somebody else's box. I've always known I need to create my own space.
On that note, thank you, Mel.
Mel, thank you
for all your knowledge.
Mel's
We definitely want to have you back on the show.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
Wait. I bought presents.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Well, we're very honored.
I only thought there were going to be 2 people, so I got you next time, brother.
No.
Got a little almond smoothie for you guys.
Yeah, this is great. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
You want to know this? Oh my goodness, it smells amazing.
Try some.
Mm.
Tea-action fry.
Yeah.
Is this for hair or skin?
You should know better. All of my products are for hair and skin.
Oh,
Did I mention that? All of the
right.
products you should be able to use on your
Absolutely.
entire body. Any product that claims to be natural that you can't use on your whole body, minus your special parts, is
Well, I
not
don't know
natural.
with the COVID being coming out, your product is on demand right now.
Listen, gotta moisturize.
Trying to blow this thing out.
Listen, gotta stay moisturized regardless of the coronas,
Yes.
right? Especially with all the hand washing
Oh
and,
my goodness, it
you know,
smells so
a lot
good.
of folks
Yeah.
are talking about their
Smells-
hands are cracked and
This
everything,
is
so.
good. Now expect that you're gonna get more orders from me after this.
Right, thank you.
Yeah.
Support Black-owned businesses, please and thank you.
Yeah. No, but
Thank y'all for having me.